Islands Light FM. Good morning and hello. I appreciate you being here today, and we've got another person here that wasn't here for a day or two, too. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. And it's time to check in and find out what Wall Street's doing to us this morning. You can take that as a hint. It's to us, not for us again today. On the telephone, Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services. We haven't talked for a couple of days. Philip, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right, buddy. Enjoying this cooler weather. You know, we got a new puppy, so that's taking some time and energy as well. So it's all exciting times around here.
I hear you completely. And it was kind of exciting on Wall Street. 24 hours after setting a whole bunch of new records when we announced the government was going to open, yesterday we turned right around and flushed 2 days' worth of gains right down the toilet with a really red day. Dow fell 798 points yesterday. Standard & Poor's down by 113. NASDAQ down by 536 points. Heck, even Bitcoin fell down to like 94,000. I mean, if it wasn't nailed down, we were pretty much selling it yesterday, right?
Yeah, we were, Dave. And the Russell 2000 was a big loser yesterday, down almost 2.8%. But you're right. I mean, looking at Bitcoin, we've talked about it a little bit here and there, but man, has it dropped. It's down below 95,000, like you said, down 3.65% from yesterday. And it was down pretty radically yesterday. So it's just been a rough thing across the board. I'm trying to figure out where the money's going. Maybe it's gold and silver. I haven't really paid much attention to that, but nope. Let's see here.
Gold.
Nope, they're down. They're down today too. Everybody's down today.
I'm going to hold Bitcoin to the standard measure of what we do for investments because people are calling about Bitcoin's going to be the new reference currency and the new hedge currency that's out there. I think we need to hold them to the standard. They're down over 25% from their peak. Bitcoin is officially now in a bear market. And I don't know whether that's good news, bad news, or simply a factoid of life, but we peaked up around 120-odd thousand on Bitcoin, and if we're going to hold it to the same standards, it's now officially in bear territory this morning, which I don't think either you or I expected it to fall that fast, did you?
No, but it looks to me like everything's got the flu because everything is trading down significantly. Even like I said, even silver and gold are trading down this morning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, flu might not be the right term for it. I mean, there are other bodily functions that it kind of looks like. It's not been pretty. Two factors involve the thing. Number one, and your tip sheets were saying this, that we're all nervous now. And one of the truisms of Wall Street that you and I have always agreed on, Wall Street can deal with bad news. They can deal with good news. What they really hate is uncertainty. And now that the government's open again, since we don't know what the Sam Hill we're going to get out of 2 months worth of government reports on employment, inflation, and everything else, everybody's just, scared to the point of really trouble here, right?
It does definitely seem that way, Dave, when we look at, yesterday's major downward trend, and then today it looks like we're on the same path, moving downward this morning. And so when I look at that, it starts to make some sense, right? We opened the government, everybody was happy. And you would have thought that the market had been going up with the uncertainty of when it was going to open, but now it's going to open. And now they're uncertain about what the numbers are really going to show us. And so putting pressure on the indexes. And you know, I've said, and it's past time for a correction. And so we may be in that correction territory here for a little bit, heading down to that 10 to 15% decline in order to get a new footing to head up.
Absolutely. And those correction numbers, when we get up in the nosebleed territory like the Dow in the 47, 48,000 range, correction numbers can be really, really scary. But we got to keep statistically, until we got into this nosebleed territory, I think the statistics had it, you go through at least two corrections a year. Now, that was back when the Dow was in the 15,000 range and you weren't too terribly nervous about 1,500. You start looking at 47,000 Dows, and you talk about a Dow going down by 5,000 points. That's scarier than crud, but the bottom line is you've got to keep in mind the correction is actually healthy. It involves a shift in strategies on the market, and it comes back from those corrections. But your point's taken. We're way overdue for a correction, and this might be the beginning of it. Amplifying the flush on the commode yesterday was the fact that we had a bunch of rubber chicken circuit speakers from the Fed and the Fed Watch tool that comes out of the CME. It used to be, before yesterday, they were giving it a 63% chance of a rate cut in the December Fed meeting. With all of the governors out on the rubber chicken circuit, they now reduced it in one day, down from 63% down to a 52% chance of a rate cut. It's still better than 50-50, but the folks that are counting on a rate cut, like, oh, can you say the high tech and the small cap stocks, they weren't happy to get that change in odds either, and that just added fuel to the burning off fire that we saw yesterday, right?
Yeah, it did. It really that did not help us at all, because everybody thinks we're going to get this big rate cut, and it just doesn't seem to be actually in the it may not be in the cards, right? And that was what Powell was saying early on, because they haven't seen the numbers, and so it's going to be interesting to see what really kind of happens here in the next week or two. I'm not sure
hmm
how fast the numbers are going to start to come out, but definitely the market wants to see something so it can get a feel for where we're going.
Absolutely. Yesterday, I think the only people that made any money were people who invested in the VIX. That's the volatility index. It now this morning on my delayed quotes is reading 22.56, went up 12.8% yesterday alone. A few upsy downsy days will do that to you. Other tidbits we got out there, Walmart's CEO announced that he's retiring. That certainly isn't going to necessarily help Walmart stock until they officially make their operations manager appointment official, will it?
No, it won't, and it's actually got Walmart trading down 2.5% this morning.
No big surprise there. And again, we get into uncertainty in contrast to news. Got two mergers and acquisition targets going on in big pharma. Merck announced that they're buying a company called Cidara. They make a flu prevention vaccine out there, so we got that one in there. And then Pfizer is talking about bidding heavily for another company, and I don't know what Metsera makes. I'm assuming they're one of the obesity drug companies, but they're starting to buy and sell each other on the pharma market, which means probably the buyers are happy to see the stock market tank for a while. It's going to reduce their price.
Yeah, you mentioned Sadara. Let's just say if you own Sadara on Monday, you would be
hmm
a very, very happy person right now.
What happened?
They're up 104% on that news.
Holy crud!
Yeah,
it was,
they're up
I
$110.
hadn't even heard of them before. Wish I had them. You got any other company news that we could report on this morning? It's Friday. There ought to be somebody out there telling us they had a good or a bad
The
quarter.
only the only actual report I have, I think, is StubHub. StubHub came out and they had a third quarter net loss, huge loss, 1.3 billion. That's a loss of $4.27 a share. Compared to the same quarter last year, they lost 45 million, or 15 cents a share. Now they did say that the reason that that happened is they had a one-time stock-based compensation charge. In other words, they paid some executives in stock, and they still have to count that as an expense on their books.
Mhm.
But that's got StubHub trading down 23% this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big drop. I thought it might be tied in somehow to the Ticketmaster scandals. Just it was their own internal accounting. Well, resetting the table yesterday was pretty much, I can't call it anything other than a bloodbath when you got the NASDAQ down 2.25% in one day. I'm sorry, that's a bloodbath yesterday. 45 minutes before we open this morning, how are we doing?
Dave, not much better, I'm afraid. Dow's
Ooh,
down about 0.6%. S&P 500 is down almost 1%. The Nasdaq 100 down almost 1.5% to open, and the Russell 2000 is down about 1.4%. And you talked about the VIX. The VIX on the S&P 500 is up another 5.5% this morning. On the other
Good.
side, yeah, on the other side, we got silver. Oh, gee, the crickets down 5.2% this morning. Um, Gold down 3.5%. Crude oil up 2%, but still, I like this number, Dave. $59.88 a barrel.
I do too. But at the same time, it makes both of us kind of wonder where in the heck's the money going, because everything's off this morning. Not going overseas, I can tell you that. The European markets are, and the Asian Rim markets both off at the close. The Asian Rim market profoundly unimpressed by us. Mainland Chinese markets off by as much as 1.9% at the 6 a.m. close this morning. European indexes are still heading down today, halfway through their trading day. Average European index is down by over 1.5% halfway through there. Boy, we get the flu, everybody else gets pneumonia. Trying to figure out how to make a retirement plan happen, that takes an expert pair of eyes. And boy, oh boy, if you're trading on the day by day, you're looking at it and saying, am I ever going to retire? How do I find you to get the risk out of my plan, Philip?
David, give us a call 863-382-0037 to schedule their core retirement design, which is starts with a 30-minute conversation with you and I, trying to figure out where you are, where you need to get to. And then join us for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM. And you can always see this rerun of this show, Dave, on Facebook. We post it live there. And if you go there now, well, not right now, but as soon as they get it posted, you'll get to see a picture of the puppy. Josie Joe. She's right there.
I was going to clarify, they don't have a camera on me. They got the camera on you, not me. I break lenses. We'll keep them in touch as to what's going on with all the delayed government reports that come out next week. I know you're going some continuing education next week, so I'll see you in a few days, all right?
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you, my friend. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great weekend. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye now.